Hey friends, we are back live at Nikki T Live. I said live twice. My name's Nick Taylor, your host, and today I'm hanging out with Andy Piper. Andy, how you doing today?
I am well, Nick. Yeah, good. It's as we just were saying to each other before we went live. We've kind of been chatting occasionally on the internet for quite a while now, and it's good to
Yeah,
finally hang out together.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, I think we met through the Dev 2 stream, which I used to do with my coworker Christina Gorton, and we have
Hmm.
I don't know Jen Schiffer that well, aside from we're mutuals on a few socials, but I believe that's how I came to know you because you hopped on one of our streams, and you're also one of the good citizens of Dev 2 as a moderator, like a bunch of us are, and so appreciate your
Yeah,
efforts there as always. It's
yeah, it's
definitely
been
challenging sometimes.
it's been a great community. Met some really nice folks over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still enjoy going on there every day and seeing what's new, what people are talking about.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So for folks that may not know who you are,
Mhm.
maybe kind of just give a rundown of Andy Piper, the myth, the legend, or whatever, however you want to introduce
Wow.
yourself.
Yeah, I guess I've been doing DevRel for the longest time, for about 15 years now, for a couple of different companies. Most recently, I was, well, before what I'm doing right now, I was at a company called Twitter when it was version 1.0,
Yeah, yeah.
before certain recent events. So I was there for a long time. And then before that, I was doing Cloud Foundry DevRel for
Oh, no way.
back
Okay.
back when it was Pivotal VMware.
Okay.
So I was the first developer advocate specifically on Cloud Foundry. There was a group of us that were kind of doing Spring, Java, Cloud Foundry, Redis related sort of stuff there. So that was really cool.
Okay. Oh,
Did a bunch
nice.
of stuff around MQTT as well. So I'm really into gadgets, which is what we'll be talking about today. Yeah, these camera filters and blurs and things kind of mess up. But anyway, we've got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I
Yeah.
love to play with MicroPython. I'm a big into open source. This is my studio space that I
Okay.
kind of moved into um, after the event in November. So my wife and I wanted to get our hobbies off the dining room table. So she's
Okay.
kind of got a space over here behind me where she does like vinyl cutting and crafting and stuff. And
Oh,
then
okay,
I've
okay.
got to my left a bunch of 3D printers, and to my right, if I can, sort of like a workspace area with gadgets and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's
So
super
yeah, I've
cool.
been sitting in here most days, learning new things, playing with all the fun toys. And then yeah, the most recent thing that I'm doing, temporarily sort of freelance. I'm helping Mastodon, the Mastodon project with Deborah as well at the moment. So
Oh, no way. I didn't
yeah,
know
a bit
that
of, a
because
bit of everything. Yeah. So
that's
I
super
guess it got
cool.
announced about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So it's just kind of a part-time freelance thing that I'm doing, a
Okay,
bit of
okay.
help and support around getting them on the right track, and we'll see how that goes. As you know, it's a
Oh, okay.
non-profit, the organization, so it's one of those things where everybody has to sort of try and help out, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Okay. No, that's super cool. I didn't realize that you're doing that with Mastodon. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're both big fans of open source, so I think that's super cool. It's yeah, we'll definitely talk about some MicroPython and IoT. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
am curious about the Mastodon stuff because
Mm-hmm.
I joined not is it Neil Lawson or why is his name escaping me? At Toot Dot Cafe, I think. Is that where you I can't you're on another instance,
I'm
but
on
I
McCall. Yeah, I'm on McCall.social, which is kind of an in joke because Twitter's internal application framework is called McCall. So
okay.
so when a bunch of us left, and one of the SREs actually set up McCall.social
Okay.
for sort of the refugees and friends. So I'm over there. But yeah, the nice
Yeah.
thing about the Fediverse is we can all talk to one another wherever we are. And I've just started using Lemmy instead of Reddit as well, because that seems to be the one of the two places that folks are migrating to in the
Okay.
new distributed world. So yeah,
Yeah. I feel like I'm one of the odd people in tech that doesn't really go on Reddit. I don't know
I've
why.
never been like the greatest redditor, but it's certainly where a load of memes start, right? So you end up seeing stuff from there, similar to Twitter when you see tweets on the news, right? You end up
Yeah,
seeing the content regardless of whether you use the platform. Um, and yeah, it was always it was often a bit of a trash fire depending on the topics you were interested in
yeah,
on Reddit. But yeah, I'm kind of into the 3D printing community and a few other ones, so it's where
okay.
people tend to hang out.
Yeah, I mean, I have used it. It's just I'm not kind of like I was never somebody that was there all the time. Like I remember
Hmm.
looking up cell phone plans on there in Canada for some deals,
Yeah.
and I definitely come across stuff there because it obviously gets surfaced when you search for things. But yeah, no, that's cool. I haven't heard of Lemmy. I'll definitely check that out. Is that fairly new, or is that something that's been around for a while?
Oh, it's been around for 3 or 4 years. It's another one that uses ActivityPub and is part of the Fediverse. And there's also another similar platform called Kbin,
Okay,
which is literally the letter K, BIN,
okay,
which works in a similar way. And then again, because they're all using ActivityPub, you can subscribe to communities between the two platforms.
okay,
And then there's a bunch of instances. So I'm on lemmy.world, but there's lemmy.ml, and there's a
okay.
bunch of other ones as well. So
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, no, that's super awesome, and congrats on that gig doing DevRel with Mastodon. That's super cool. Um,
thanks.
s-
Yeah, it's fun.
so
It's particularly fun as new platforms come on board and start to suggest they might be joining the Fediverse. So
yeah, no, for sure. I don't know why my face just froze for a second. So
sorry.
no, it's me. It's because I was testing. I always make sure this
All
Twitch
right.
stream is working, and then I paused it. I digress. So we came up with the title "Making and Learning," and
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you kind of want to maybe dive into that a bit. I I personally haven't done too much with IoT. Like I have
Okay.
because my kids they've done some things like I found a really great project that I don't know if it originated from the UK, but I know the school program were giving out microbit controllers to several
Yeah.
students at one point. So I ended
Mm-hmm.
up buying one. They were pretty affordable in Canada. I think they just sold them here. It's not like I had to order it from the UK, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I paid like 20 or $30 Canadian, but my one of my kids had some fun with that, just some fun stuff, kind of like I remember using my Vic 20 where you print your name and it just kind of goes
Yeah.
across and stuff. And she didn't get too interested into it, and then I got an Ada fruit to try as well, but I honestly they've kind of been sitting in a drawer, so I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
excited to do this because like I'd done some stuff with, I know a lot of these projects have emulators, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to talk about that and dig into that too, but I'm actually very excited to see if we can actually get a device I bought today, which I'll
Yeah.
just show folks for a second there. Um, and I'll drop a link to what this is. It's an ESP32, which is a particular type of microcontroller, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess let's kind of start there. Like, how did you get into it? What excites you about the space? I mean, there's programming, so I can understand that aspect for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned the VIC-20. I grew up on something called the Acorn Electron, which was a BBC computer in the 1980s in the UK.
Okay.
And similar to you, sort of seeing stuff scroll across the screen. That was how I kind of got into tech. And back
Yeah.
in the day, you could take things apart. And I literally was one of my first hacks, I guess, was my parents didn't like the 8-bit beeps. So I just literally got some Walkman headphones and soldered them in place of the
Okay.
with a switch in place of in place of the speaker. So I kind of have loved the sort of hands-on piece. And then when I
Okay.
was at IBM, we were doing this a messaging protocol called MQTT, which is designed for constrained networks.
Hmm.
So the idea is you could have sensors on oil fields that were sending back pressures or whatever over
Okay.
lossy and or unreliable networks. And you wanted things to be low power, so things might just wake up every now and then to really reduce the power load. So this I was originally really involved in the sort of enterprise IBM MQ world,
Okay.
and then I got to know Andy Stanford Clark, who's one of the co-inventors of MQTT, became an
Okay.
advocate for that, got really into Arduino because that was back about 10 years ago, and that was sort of beginning to sort of take off.
Hmm.
Like you as well. I mean, I love the Raspberry Pi because, I mean, also the Raspberry Pi folks, Evan and Liz, have the same background. You know, they grew up in the UK around the same time as me. They kind of grew up with the BBC kind of computers. They have a
Okay.
very similar ethos with those boards, and I met them at an event a number of years ago.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of fun to be had where you can literally have a device in your hand that you're writing code and running it on this small thing that doesn't, in the end, I mean, you're going to use the computer to do a lot of the coding initially, but then you
Hmm.
can take it away and plug it into a battery and do something and have it just run around and do its thing. And
Yeah.
these things get more capable all the time. So you've just mentioned the ESP32. There's a bunch of different microprocessors, microcontrollers,
Hmm.
that have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built into them now. So
Okay.
you can do things like build little robots that you control with Bluetooth on your phone.
Okay.
I'm just looking around. I've put out a bunch of things next to me so I could hold them up on the
Okay.
stream. And then the one thing that I'm thinking of is in a box all the way back here, which is not so easy for me to pull out. Oh, come on. Where did you go? Okay, I can't find it, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. But I've got a little wheeled robot that's only a sort of matchbox size that runs MicroPython.
Okay.
So then we go to the language choice. So there's a couple of things. So there's different chips. So there's one
Yeah.
called the ESP32, which we're going to look at today. There's some others in the same sort of range. Typically, the chips themselves cost a few cents. Then the boards themselves cost a few dollars, depending on where you get them from and how many extra bits they've got added onto them.
Okay.
But then the Raspberry Pi folks have got one called the RP2040, which comes on a board called the Raspberry Pi Pico, which is just this little chewing gum stick sized one here. Oops, I'm getting my blur is not helping. I'll turn off the blur because
Yeah, I had to fix my zoom because I have a camera on my device. I had to adjust it because it got too close. So
yeah, no, I've been doing meetings and I didn't need people to see all the junk in the back during the day. But yeah, so the Raspberry Pi Pico here, which is on a kind of a kit which lets me do other things, which we'll maybe talk about.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of others. There's one here. This is a really fun one, which is a little Lego guy. So this is minifigboards.com is the guy that the Benjamin Shockley does these, and this one actually has an RP2040 on.
Okay.
So you probably can't see the little raspberry icon on his chest, but he's got a little raspberry chip on there.
Oh yeah, no, I see it, and I see the micro USB in his head.
Either micro USB, yes, it is in his head, yes, and then he's got some buttons down here for resetting.
Okay.
These connectors on the sides are stemmer or quick connectors that you can plug additional sensors into, and then on one of his legs here, he's got a little grid of RGB LEDs. So RP2040, as it stands, doesn't have Wi-Fi, but the Raspberry Pi Pico W, which is this board here, does have.
Okay.
That's the Pico W. That's the Pico, the RP2040, but then it's got this additional Wi-Fi chip, so that one can go online. Okay. So again, the nice thing about the ESP boards from Espressif is that they have Wi-Fi built in, they have Bluetooth built in, and the brand new ones, the C6 boards, have Thread and a lot of the sort of home automation, sort of Matter stuff coming in.
Yeah.
So you can then start to do some interesting things that I'm into, like home automation. So you can a less home automation-y, but related to what I'm doing here. I've got a 3D printer to my left.
Okay.
And I've got a light set of light strip inside it. The light strip came with a remote control, which uses regular radio RF sort of remote control.
Okay.
But I've chopped that off. I haven't chopped that off. It's not in a position I can use this.
Okay.
But I can intercept these signals, right? So it's just RF signals. So I've got a Raspberry Pi Pico, which has got an RF receiver, and then I can use RF transmitter. Sorry, the Pico's got the RF transmitter, which talks the same language as this thing. So it essentially has a web server running on it that I can do HTTP calls to from anything I like. So then it will switch the lights up and down or whatever I need it to do. So
Yeah, that's super cool.
that's kind of half. It's one of those half-written projects that I need to document. I've been
Yeah.
so bad at writing. You're really good at blogging and doing regular newsletters and things, and I've become very poor at it. So I want to get better at that.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how MicroPython I got into, because I love Python. I think it's a really expressive language. Adafruit have CircuitPython, which is slightly more high level, a little bit more high level. They started out from the perspective of, if you plug a device in, you get a USB drive, and you're just going to code on the drive. Very accessible. And then they've got their own hardware and a community of people building stuff on CircuitPython. But CircuitPython is a fork of MicroPython.
Okay.
They've just taken a slightly different philosophy in terms of how they present the devices to MicroPython. And my view was, I wanted to get to know the basics, the core kind of team, most of whom are in Australia. So this morning, I'm in the UK, as you can probably tell from my voice. And this morning, first thing, 9 a.m., I was in here joining the Melbourne MicroPython meetup that happened last night, their time. So it was 8 p.m. there, 9 a.m. here.
Oh, that's not too bad. 9 a.m. is not too bad.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, I spent a couple of hours learning what was new with MicroPython, watching them eat pizza and talk through the new features. And then hang out with you at the other end of the day. So it's a good day. I'm enjoying it.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, there's a couple comments in the chat. Jazzy Pants 1989. Oh, it's all good. I think Jazzy Pants 1989 loves the Lego person. Says it's super cute. And Bumpy Lumps Alex is like, these microcomputers seem like a great way to get a good grasp of hardware and how it works. And I totally get that, because I'm more in the software space, obviously, but like when I did go to uni for computer science, and it wasn't electrical engineering, it was software engineering, but we did at some point, do some things with hardware, very minimal stuff, like NANDs and what is it, the NAND controllers, and very rudimentary things, but so it's like you could do like very basic things to just say, hey, this went to there, or like we had two terminals connected and stuff like that. But to Alex's point, I love that this hardware is so approachable now, because I mean, if you had a desktop PC, or even if you have a desktop PC now, still, like I used to tinker with that, but like blowing the dust out of your NIC card, or stuff like that, or like upgrading things, it was very approachable because there was just a lot of space. You could actually fit your fingers in and stuff. But oh, hey, how's it going, Chrissy? Chrissy, she's at Dev2 as well, and she says hello.
Yeah. Hey.
But yeah, I think it's super approachable, and it's not cost prohibitive, which is another thing. It's like
it doesn't need to be. I mean, unless you're like me and just like continually piling up gadgets, which I have a problem, and I admit to it. But yeah, no, it doesn't have to be, for sure. And you can get started and learn some stuff. I mean, you're literally talking about very simple signals between pins attached down the side of a board. So you have a lot of very direct control over things. There's some abstraction, of course, and people build libraries to make things easier for us, which is great. But if I have a very specific problem I want to solve, and I've got a couple of bits of electronics that match, then that's great.
Yeah, and I think that's what's interesting and fun about it too, because obviously you can make something silly with these things, have fun, but there is, like you were saying before, like when you in the oil fields before, there's literal practical applications for these low latency cheap devices. So I think that's what's interesting as well. And I remember
also the other side of that.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the other. I mean, I used oil as an example, and knowing that it's not a cool or trendy thing to be talking about. The other side of it is actually we can do much more useful things like environmental monitoring. Now, that's something that I've got a ton of boards for. Pimoroni sell a a bunch of boards under their Enviro brand. So this guy
Okay.
here, if I plug him in, would connect up, and this has got an air quality sensor on. So if I plugged him in,
Oh,
which
okay.
is not as you can see at the moment, this one's got a screen that would show me kind of the air quality and stuff.
Okay.
That one's actually, again, it's a PKW on the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some great stuff we can start to do, improving lives as well as monitoring oil pipelines. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's super cool. Yeah, because again, getting back to the devices being cheap and also
Mm.
not consuming a lot of power, like I can see the practical uses there. Like I'm thinking of like a bigger example, but like even for example, like we have speed signs here that are solar powered, or we even have,
Yes.
for example,
Yeah.
when you go to pay, not that I drive downtown that often at the moment, but instead of for those long in the tooth like you and myself, Andy, sticking in coins into a parking meter is kind of disappearing, and now they have, there's an app as well, but a lot of these devices, they're just solar powered and they probably don't take a lot of juice because they're on all day. But I can see practical applications like that, or like the sensor, like you were saying, you can literally, it's so tiny and probably doesn't require a lot of power, once you put it in a nice looking case potentially. Oh yeah, see that.
I'm going to have to apologize to folks because I have a variety of cameras all over my desk. But when Nick and I were trying to get set up earlier, I ended up just unplugging everything just so I could make sure that the one on my Mac was going to work. So yeah, just this is one that you can see.
Yeah.
And what this is actually doing, as well as showing stuff on the screen here, is it's also publishing MQTT messages over Wi-Fi to my broker, which I can then monitor from wherever I might be while this thing
Okay.
is on and connected here.
Yeah.
But you can do things like, low power. So Wi-Fi itself is not a low power technology.
Yeah.
It is pretty heavy, but what some of these devices can do, some of these chips, in particular the espressive ones, they can go into deep sleep, and then they can basically use an incredibly tiny amount of power, and then come back alive every now and then. So you can run things off of a battery for a long period of time, for example. One of the
Yeah.
challenges, though, is that we're talking about very small devices. So we don't have a big node stack, for example, which may pull in a bunch of dependencies and a ton of memory to churn. We've got to be very, very, or our runtimes have got to be very, very efficient.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons MicroPython exists, because a lot of these things, almost all of them, the native language is C or assembler. You can now run Rust and TinyGo and various other. There's one called MicroLisp. So there's various other languages that now compile down to these devices. Python famously comes with batteries included. If you're a Pythonista, the standard library has tons of functionality in it. Some of these devices you're talking about a couple of 100K of memory or less, or often far less. So MicroPython is a complete reimplementation of Python. It's not Python 3.11, 3.12, the current version, running on these devices. It's a completely rebuilt from the ground up interpreter that is compiled in the native language. So in the case of the expressive board we're going to look at, it's using something called the IDF, which is the integrated framework for building for expressive chips. But you can still write your Python code, and then you could run the same Python code or very similar Python code on a Raspberry Pi Pico or on the expressive board or on another microcontroller. So that's another reason why I love it. I haven't had to learn all of the very specific things down to the native differences between the chips.
Yeah, it's not like we want to be writing assembler or anything. I remember one of my old bosses. He literally created a video game in raw assembly, but like because he enjoyed it, I guess. But that's definitely not what I would want to do. But again,
see the other. I'm into the retro stuff as well, though. So I've been getting there's an 8-bit machine called the Agon Lite, although it's using an ESP, actually, a chip for the graphic out on it. That will run sort of regular old BASIC on it, and is super cheap. And there's I'm into a lot of the sort of retro emulation for the old style Spectrum and classic games as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just my degree. Now you mentioned you went and did computer science. My degree is in history, so I'm self-taught with all this stuff. So I love a lot of the old stuff, as well as being like super excited about all the new technology that comes out every day.
Yeah. And I'm definitely like you. I definitely prefer. I don't play a lot of video games, so like the new video games do look very appealing, but the cognitive lift to learn all the controls, I'm sure I could get good at it if I spent hours and hours, but I typically default to old 2D games if I happen to play a video game. I have an emulator too, like for Nintendo and so on. So, and they're still fun to me. So, cool. Yeah, so you mentioned MQTT before. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, that sounds like it's a messaging system or a protocol.
Mm-hmm.
What is it exactly?
Yeah.
Is it like Kafka, but like on a lower scale or something? Or
Yeah, it's publish and subscribe. So
okay,
you have a broker with a well-known address. A device wants to publish on a topic. In the case of my EnviroSense, I have one. Let's say off the top of my head, it would be something like Enviro because that's its name, and then it would be temperature, light, air quality, and then in each of those topics, every 10 seconds, it would publish the current reading, and it does it
okay,
in the protocol is intended to be very simple. So it's got a 2-byte header, and the rest of it is just raw data. But you want to be as concise as possible. The protocol has some other kind of cool and interesting things in it that let you do things like there's something called the last will and testament, so that when you create your initial connect, when you wake up and you connect to the broker, you can also specify, if I go away for longer than this period of time, then this is my last will and testament. Tell the other guys that I went away because they might need to come and reboot me or something like that, right? So it's designed very much for those things. Now, the interesting thing about MQTT is that back in, it was before I joined 2 of my previous companies. So it was probably about 15 years ago, 12 years ago. Facebook started using it in Messenger because they wanted a lightweight protocol back then. Now I'm almost certain they don't do that anymore, but it kind of shone a spotlight on the protocol. So it was designed for Internet of Things messaging. It's a standard now. It's at the I always want to say IETF, but it's not the IETF. It's one of the other big standards bodies. My brain is blanking.
not the
I wasn't really planning to
IEEE,
talk
is it?
about it. So, yeah, is
no.
it? Or maybe it is the IETF. Anyway, one of those.
Cool.
And again, it's implemented in all kinds of languages. It's available on loads of IoT device clouds. It's just very efficient and very simple. So yeah, that's what it is. If you know RabbitMQ, or as you say, I mean, Kafka is a very similar sort of principle in terms of messaging. But it's a while since I've been doing those I've very much stayed in the IoT messaging space. I used to do like enterprise messaging for a living and work on banking systems and things, but that's a couple of jobs ago now.
Yeah. No, I worked in fintech for a bit, and they used event sourcing.
Right. So it's very it's very similar kind of like structure and principle, right? You're interested in something, some topic. You don't really care where the information comes from. You're listening on a topic, and the things that are publishing equally don't know who's listening. They're just tasked with sending the data out.
Cool. Awesome. So let's kind of, we've seen a few devices now. So where do you want to get started exactly? So
so we've got a couple of things. So MicroPython itself on the website has a simulator or a runtime. Let me just see if I can share, and let me see if I can walk us through some of the things that we can look at here.
Yeah, for sure.
MicroPython without breaking the stream again, as I did before. We were having. So I had all these tabs open, and now I may have closed them. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
Let's do my screen share.
Yeah, I'll just copy it over. I think it's okay. Yeah, I see it here. Yeah, let me just copy that over. I'll
Now,
bring it into the
but the
stream.
thing is, I've only just I've only shared the tab, and I really wanted to share the whole screen. Oh, I can just change tabs, but we'll see how we go. All right,
Okay, cool.
so if you go to micropython.org, there is a section where you can go in and you get a MicroPython interpreter. So if you ever use Python,
Okay.
you've got this thing called the REPL, which so I can literally, as it says, like help. It's going to tell me it's running in a JavaScript. It's basically running in an emulator converted by JavaScript, so it can run in the browser here. And I can do things like, say, tell me the modules that are available. I'm just going to list a few modules. Now, this is really limited. MicroPython is also, Damien George, who invented MicroPython, also has his own range of microcontrollers. So down in the bottom corner here, you can see this thing, which is a representation of one of the Pi boards, which runs an STM controller. So I can choose a demo. Let's just choose an LED one because it's pretty straightforward. Now, the only thing is has actually drawn the LED onto the...
Okay, I see it lighting up.
There's very. There was actually a separate one. I was pin LED, so you can see it lighting up there. This one draws the LED on.
Okay.
So it's going to light up the LED when we run the script. So you can see the code here. Again, we know that an LED is connected to pin 12 over here on the device.
Okay, it's that specific. Okay, when you import it. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So you're importing the machine.pin. So import machine, which is the representation of the board you're running on. Specify which specific pin you want to address, and then you send the command. So that's cool, and you can do some other things with this this environment. It doesn't get updated super often. So in fact, if I do import sys, and then I say print sys.version, it's going to say that this is, so first of all, the first part is 3.4.0, and I told you that MicroPython is a re-implementation of Python, and it's a re-implementation of Python version 3.4, which is quite a few releases back.
Okay.
But since then, it's also incorporated additional things from Python for future Python or later Python versions. It's not fully compatible. You cannot run Python 3.4, 5, 6 code on a MicroPython device and expect it to not have some kind of missing capability. And you don't have some of the things like Pillow, the image processing library, it's huge, or some of the machine learning stuff that requires tons of memory. You've got things like some things that you can do, but so this is cool. But there's a really cool website called Wokwi, which let's go look at. So if you really want to get into doing stuff via simulation, you don't have a board yet, this is really cool. And Wokwi supports both Arduino code, which is C++, and also MicroPython. And it gives you some options here. So there's one actually featured. Now, I've written some today to run through, but let's actually, because it's got the MQTT stuff in here, let's go into this one that says MicroPython MQTT weather logger. So now it's got us a board, which looks very similar to the one on your desk, Nick. And it's got a sensor attached, which is a temperature sensor. And on the right-hand side, we've got some code. Now, if I remember rightly, I might be wrong about this, the network connectivity stuff is only available if you're a paying user of Wokwi, or supporter, which I am. But I can run this, and it should, in theory, it sets up some variables at the beginning here. So we'll try to do something similar in a minute with our real boards, if we can. So it's setting up a client ID. It's going to connect to an existing broker in the cloud and it's got a topic called Wokwi weather. It knows that the temperature sensor is on pin 15. It's important, which is over here. So it's got the one pin is connected to the voltage. One pin is connected to the ground, so these pins are nicely labeled. and then the SDA pin, which is the data pin, is on pin 15 on the
Okay, and
ESP.
I had a question about that. I know we're in an emulator right now,
Yeah,
but say I had a weather attachment, like
yeah,
when you plug it in, does it's not even like is MicroPython isn't the operating system. It's like some lower level Linux on it, or is it
yeah.
actually
So no. So that's a great question, Nick. Yeah, so we do not have an operating system.
okay?
Okay, so these boards don't have Linux. They don't have an operating system. You're talking directly to the hardware. Now,
Oh, okay,
MicroPython
okay,
runs just above the hardware,
okay,
but that's why things are so simple and why you have to be so specific in how you address the hardware,
okay,
because you don't have that layer. Now, you can get some forms of operating systems. So there's RTOS and some other things that run closer to the hardware.
okay,
And in fact, I've just read that some folks with the most recent sort of big high-end ESP32 chips, the S3s, have started to get Linux to run on that.
okay,
But typically, file system is in Flash,
okay,
which is usually persisted. But sometimes you can. Some of them have SD card readers and things you can put on there for logging data.
okay,
But yeah, that's an absolutely great question. So you're going to see that we need to do all this, send all these commands by hand,
okay.
essentially. So we're specifying, I want to listen on this pin
Hmm.
15. Then we're going to connect to a network. Now, in the case of Walkway,
Yeah.
it's kind of a fake network, so you don't give it a password.
Okay.
Then it goes off and uses an MQTT library, which is someone has already built. This is part of the This is actually part of when you install MicroPython on your ESP32. You will get, because it knows that it's a board that can support Wi-Fi, you'll
Okay.
get an MQTT client on there. But if not, you could install that very easily.
Okay.
MicroPython's got something in the latest versions called MIP, which is very similar to pip for installing packages. Also, if you come from a Node background, it's similar to npm registry. So
Okay. That's
yeah, so
cool.
we're going to connect to the Wi-Fi, connect to MQTT, check for the temperature and humidity, which is what this sensor can do.
Okay.
And then in fact, yeah, so the sensor, yeah, so it's just going to drop out some
Okay.
JSON data into a message and send that. Now, if I hit run on this, it's going to do everything I just said, and we'll see it connect to the Wi-Fi
Okay.
and report this this topic whenever. So it's sent on this Walkway weather some data, and it's only sending it when something changes. Now, inside
Okay.
here, I can now click on this, and I can change the
Oh, super
temperature,
cool. Okay. Okay.
which is pretty neat because obviously,
Yeah.
otherwise, similar to covering the light sensor with my hand or something like that to simulate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can simulate changing this stuff, and in a console window, terminal window, I could subscribe using my MQTT client to that very server. Now that's probably going to break
Okay.
the screen again. Let me stop sharing and share my whole screen instead,
Okay.
and see if I
Perfect.
can
I'll see. I
full
might need to
screen
reload it, but I
and
think it should
minimize.
be okay.
Let's do that and then minimize us so that we are not.
Oh, we're in OBSception or.
Are we? Is it still
Oh
like
no!
that?
No, it's all good now.
Oh,
We're
it's all
back
good.
on
Okay,
Walkway.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm going to. So hopefully you got my terminal in front of Walkway, and I'm
Yeah.
just finding the name of the broker. So I've got an MQTT package called Mosquito, which if you run Mac OS and you use Homebrew, you can install pretty straightforwardly. So my broker is broker.mqtt-dashboard.com. I want to subscribe to the topic Walkway weather, and I want to do it verbose, so I get the topic information. And this is now going to be listening for publications. And it hasn't published anything new because I didn't change the temperature. But now if I change the temperature, hopefully Come on, what have I done wrong? There we go. So we got the Wakui weather notification here in the terminal as well. So that's come from the simulator
Yeah.
in this case. So if
No.
I just switch things up a bit, I should be able to see things happening live.
Okay, yeah. Just because a pub sub, you can have it in many places.
Exactly, so. Right. And so then you might, and actually, I think I may have just broken the simulator by the looks of it. It got its connection reset. But yeah, exactly right. So now you can imagine, and people do use this for home dashboards where you've got, your temperature curves and your air quality dashboards and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
My 3D printer to my left uses MQTT internally and publishes, it's got its own broker, and it publishes top messages on saying what layer of the print it's on, what temperature it's at, all these kind of things. So it's really used in all kinds of ways. So that's the kind of thing you can do with this particular simulator. And I can also add my own components. So I could decide I want a push button in this, and then I could wire that up. I'm not going to go down this road at the moment.
Yeah. But that's super cool because it gets back to what you were saying. Like, you might not have the hardware right away, but you can still learn. And then when you actually get the physical hardware, you can just basically, I guess it's like the hardware there, you just flash it with your program. That's typically what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you copy the program over. So you flash the hardware with MicroPython, the interpreter, and then you copy the program over into Flash. And depending on how the thing is set up, there's a file called boot.py, which is run at startup, which determines what runs. In CircuitPython, the file is called code.py. But again, there's just a couple of sort of flavor differences between the two environments.
Okay.
Now we're gonna get a very brief OBSception again, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this guy. Good. I'm gonna move this guy. At least I'm gonna try and move this guy. I can't move this guy because I stopped my screen sharing. Okay, well that's fine. Let's not do that.
Oh, yeah.
I do not need to see myself whilst I'm talking to you. So it's weird though, because you're so used to doing video calls and stuff, and then expect to see yourself somewhere on the screen. So this is another thing that I did earlier, which I wanted to quickly show you. And before we move on to your hardware, a couple of things actually. If you're good to carry on running today, I really want to get to the hardware.
No, it's okay. It's okay if we go past the time. It's all good.
Yeah. Awesome. So this is one that I put together earlier. Top code is very similar. You'll see in this case, we've got a ring of LEDs, and these are RGB LEDs. And I'm just going to disconnect my MQTT. So I don't know whether you're familiar with it at all.
I am not.
Cheerlights used to be. Okay, so Cheerlights was a really cool thing that used to live on Twitter. And so back in the early, people have done things like synchronizing their Christmas lights around the world using Cheerlights. Now, awesome. Because the Twitter API has changed and gone closed and all these other things, Hans has moved this onto Discord now. So I'm in the Cheerlights channel, which we'll go and talk to in a minute. But what's going to happen with this particular example, and this is also just a really fun sort of hello world type example you can use with kids or whatever, if you want to have something that lets them change color dynamically on the internet. I've actually got one of my browser plugins up here is the current Cheerlights color. So this is subscribe, and then the API works over MQTT, and it also works over REST. So this is just a JavaScript, bit of JavaScript polling to see what the current color is. So if I run this one, what's going to happen is it's going to listen to MQTT on the Cheerlights server for the RGB mix. And then change the color. So let's run this simulation. And I'm expecting that light to go red once it's connected to the Wi-Fi. There we go. So that matches my browser up here. We are listening to Cheerlights. I'm on the wrong Cheerlights channel. I'll be on the Cheerlights channel, not talking to this. So now Cheerlights. And say blue. I think it pops up a menu. So, well, let's get the current color. Okay, the current color is red. let's pop over and change the color to cyan, and it's
Oh,
gone cyan over here. So
I think you need to share your screen again.
oh, I apologize.
Yeah, we're all good. I see your screen again.
There we go.
Okay, so
So we're cyan.
yeah, and I see it upstairs.
I can, in principle, like anybody can go into Discord and tell Cheerlights to change the color. So
Okay.
it used to be so much more fun when it was on Twitter, to be honest, but there you go. That's how things are. So that's another example. And it's an easy one. Anybody can use Cheerlights as a little way of getting random colors.
Okay.
The one more I'm going to show you on here real quick is another project that talks to Mastodon, because that's my thing right now.
Yeah.
So I've got one here which is going to get my latest post on Mastodon.
Okay.
And so this is on a virtual piece of hardware. Gets an IP address, talks to Mastodon, I hope.
Yeah, I was gonna say they could probably move Cheerlights to Mastodon if they wanted to, the Fediverse.
So they've tried that. And the reason, so it's got, there we go. It's got my most recent tweet here. Post here,
cool.
tweet. The old habits die hard. And also the number of replies and boosts and likes and things like that you get from the JSON, from the API. A couple of things about the Mastodon API. One of them is that the body of the post is actually served back in an HTML style format.
Okay.
So I've just done a regex to strip that content back to plain text here, because in the case of one of my boards, like this one I showed earlier with the screen on, which is where I typically have been running this code.
Yeah.
I have it streaming in the toots and things onto there, and I don't need the HTML styling.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, to your point though about using Cheerlights for that, they've been on Mastodon, but the way that Federation works is that depending on which instance you connect to, then if you're following, for example, the Cheerlights hashtag, then only posts that are posted by people that instance knows about would show up. So what that means is that you can look at the list of hashtags on Mastodon, on mastodon.social and on toot.cafe and on macaw.social, and they would be slightly different depending on, I follow you, and you follow me, so our posts are probably on both of those two, of Toot Cafe and Macaw Social, but they may not both be on Mastodon Social, depending on who. As universal, because of the way that at the moment there's no universal search or discovery there.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
So anyway, Wokwi is really cool. You can do things like you can choose the type of board. You can do Arduino as well as MicroPython. They're adding new things all along. They've got stuff in Rust as well, because people are doing Rust on these devices, and Rust is actually a really good language for this kind of thing because it's so close to the metal as well. So that's simulators. Let's do something different. So you've got a device, and I would love to help you to get MicroPython loaded on there. So is it plugged into your machine?
Yeah, it is. I have the. I'll just share it up here because
unless I can figure out how to move this window, I need to.
Yeah, so I have the red. It's plugged in, and people, I don't know if they can tell, but that's actually a red light that's on. So it is powered and it's on. It's plugged into my laptop. I don't have a ton of ports, so it is in a mini hub. I don't know do you know if it has to be directly in the device, or should
it should be fine. It should be fine.
Okay.
You're on a Mac, so right?
Yeah.
So if you do lsdev / open a terminal and do lsdev cu dot and then press tab and see what you get back.
Okay, I'm just gonna switch to pairing view, so I'm gonna share my screen now. And of course I have Inception because I was watching the stream.
Yeah. I've moved the stream to one side.
I have it on another screen, but it's because what was I gonna say? My brain's frozen. It's because when you were showing your screen, I was just using OBS to watch it. Okay, let me just close this. All right. Cool. I was working before, so this is Next.js stuff. But okay, so let's just clear this. No, I'm gonna bump in the zoom a bit here. So you said ls. What was the command? /dev
Yeah.
.cu,
So
was it?
dev cu dot, try cu.cu because it's normally a character device.
Cu dot.
What
Okay,
have we got?
Bluetooth incoming port, and I have sound.
And
Okay, okay, I have cu dot Bluetooth incoming port. Is
and
and the other one
anything
is
else?
my. I have two. This is
The other
I
one's
have
something else. So you don't have one called USB serial. That's not ideal.
okay.
So
Let's see.
I wonder why.
Well,
So you say you're plugged into a USB hub.
yeah, I'm gonna
The other
see.
question is, do you know whether the cable you've got is a data cable or is it could it be a
Oh,
power cable?
that's a good question.
I
I
should have
didn't
asked
know
about this
there.
before.
I have a couple cables, so let's just
If you've
see.
got a different micro USB cable, then sometimes they don't carry data as well as power, which is really annoying.
Okay,
I normally
that's not
mark the
something
ones that don't carry data as well and throw them away because they're useless to me. But yeah, most of the time you don't need to think about them. Mine is showing up as a USB serial device.
Okay.
And I looked up your board that you got,
Hmm.
and it should have a USB
Yeah,
to
I
serial
think the
adapter built into it. So
I think the problem is that it could be like you said, it's not a data. I didn't even know there was actually
yeah,
micro USB data. So,
no, I should have mentioned that before.
but that's okay.
Well, the other option is I can show you doing this on my board, and we can figure this out separately
Yeah,
another
for
time,
sure.
which is a shame, but
Oh yeah, no, it's not a problem at all. Yeah, after the stream, just let me know where to get the right cable because I do definitely want to
yeah,
do
sorry.
something with
Well,
it.
you've probably got one, but it's probably one that's got.
Okay.
It's just some of them, some reason, are just for power, and they,
Okay.
especially
No,
if they
that's
come
good
with
to know.
let's say they come with a battery charger or something.
Okay.
All right.
But that's cool. Don't
So
worry about it. So let's go your
in my
screen.
case, I've got some boards here,
Yeah.
and I've got a board which is similar to yours. It's a very similar ESP chip.
Okay.
So these are both ESP32 WROOM chips. Both Nick and I have got the same sort of thing. Mine also has a small screen attached to it,
Okay.
and they do Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built into the chip, and they've got a range of pins. And
Okay.
so the other for USB all
Yeah.
behind the board. Mine are on the back. Yours are probably either side of the connector.
Yeah. I have a reset and I
Yeah.
don't know how well that's
So
showing up, but yeah,
yeah. So quite often what happens is, and you might want to try this whilst we're talking,
yeah.
is the thing won't go into bootloader mode until you have hit the reset button. So
Okay.
typically when I plug this in, I'm going to press boot and hold down boot and then press the other button, or the other way around, and double check whether you get any devices show up again.
Do you know
That's a
which one is
possibility.
the boot?
So which you've got reset?
Well,
And
yeah, I have two buttons. So on the left and the right of the micro USB port.
And what do they say? Do they have any labeling?
Oh yeah, of course my vision isn't what it used to be,
Yeah,
but
you're going to need. This is what I have a USB microscope with an HDMI screen on it these days because it's
I know what I'll
challenging
do
for us
is
old.
I have the link to
Use your
the
phone.
Yeah. I'll
But,
drop it and I'll check. Yeah, okay.
But anyway, yeah. So you normally hold down one button, press the other, toggle the other, and if that doesn't work, try the other way around and look for a change to your devices.
Okay. Oh yeah, boot's on the right. Okay. So I just hold down the boot one you said, or the reset?
I held down boot and pressed my other button, which in my case says EN, but yours says reset. So.
Oh no, mine says EN as well. Okay.
Okay. And then in my case, I end up with a device showing up as a USB serial character device, but it could be a cable issue as well. So there we go. I know that mine is at that address anyway.
Okay.
Now the other thing you're going to need to do at some point, which again is in Homebrew, if you use Homebrew, If not, it's pip installable. So you can do pip install ESPtool,
Okay.
or you can do. So I have something called ESPtool.py on my system,
Okay.
which actually was installed using Homebrew. So I just did brew install ESPtool, and it gave me ESPtool.py because it's a Python program.
Okay.
And that is Espressif's utility for managing these chips and these devices. There's a ton of options on there. You're going to want to go to micropython.org and go to download.
Okay.
And this is where things get mystifying depending on what board you've got.
Okay.
CircuitPython supports even more boards as well, which is crazy. But we know that we want the ESP32 port in this case.
Okay.
And if we scroll down below all the text, you'll see a bunch of boards. The one that you and I are both using is the very first one here.
Okay.
It tells you that it supports BLE and Wi-Fi. And it tells you exactly how to install it, which is what we're going to do in a second with mine.
Okay.
And then it gives you the releases. So the top one here is the actual last official release, version 1.20. And then there's also nightly builds, which is your kind of bleeding edge. So I would just go ahead and download that top one there, that ESP32 v20 120 from the 26th of April. You get a .bin file and in your downloads folder. Now I happen to have prepared for this, so I've got both the nightly build and I've also got the stable build right here.
Okay.
And I previously have done this. I'm happy to do it again, but I don't need to. The first command is going to erase what was already on there, which is the C-based code that was there. Okay. In my case, when I plugged this board in, I'd had it in my bits box, or my boards box for a long time, and I don't remember using it. It had some program that just lit up the screen with some random text, which wasn't very useful to me. So I erased it, and then I wrote the release to it, which is what I'll do now.
Okay.
The reason I didn't erase this again beforehand was because in my case, I wrote some MicroPython programs on here earlier, and I don't want to lose those in the flash. The other one would have fully cleaned out the flash.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's going to just take a few seconds just to copy MicroPython over. And then once we've done that, there's a program now that you're also going to want to become familiar with. Well, there's a few ways to handle MicroPython boards. There are IDEs and editors available. So there's a really good one that I use called Thonny, which again is installable from Homebrew. It's in all of the Linux distributions. It's also, all of these things are also available on Windows. I've got all of the systems. I don't have any particular preference. I tend to use my Mac day to day. I have a framework that runs Fedora, which I also use very frequently. And I have a Windows machine as well. So I'm not sort of telling anybody to use any particular OS. All of this stuff runs on any of those. So this is Thonny that I've just switched over to over here, which I'll show you in just a second. But you can also get a plugin for VS Code, which is called MP Remote. There's a few plugins for VS Code, but the one that I would suggest is the MP Remote plugin. Which uses a command called MP Remote, which you can install from pip. So that is MicroPython Remote. So MP Remote is a kind of command line for interacting with MicroPython devices. Now, when I type MP Remote, which I've pip installed previously, and then I type devs, it's going to list out serial ports
all your Bluetooth
about.
devices. Okay.
So in this case, it can see 2 MicroPython boards, and one of those is in fact the Pico that I showed you earlier, the Enviro that's plugged in. So the top one of these 2 is the Pomeroni board. The bottom one of these two is the board that we're working on right now. So if I do np remote connect to the device we want, I'm now in the MicroPython shell.
Okay.
So I can do import sys print sys.version, and we did this in the unicorn simulator earlier. In this case, it's showing you this MicroPython, it's Python 3.4 with extras, and this is MicroPython version 120, which is the one we just installed. I could do other things at the command prompt here, which execute more Python code. But what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to press Control and close square bracket, which gets me back to the command prompt. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me go back in here and show you help. Yeah. I mentioned earlier that you get more modules out of the box than you got on Unicorn. So you get a ton of built-in stuff, including MQTT that I mentioned. So there's MQTTs in there. NeoPixel, which is the one that drives the multicolor RGB LEDs.
Okay. And just to be, and I was just going to say, just to be clear for the chat, that Andy's on the actual device right now.
Correct. This is on the board. Yeah. This is on the board, so it says connected to the board. If I actually quit there, not quit, I would do that, because that's how you quit from the Python REPL, or Control D. So come back to my operating system. MicroPython is also available for Unix. So I also have MicroPython running on the Mac. And this is showing me that it's the Darwin version. Now, because it's running on, so if I do help modules here, it has some stuff available, but it doesn't have MQTT because there's no Wi-Fi, there's no ability to connect to the network, all those different things.
Okay.
Back out. Every single time.
I like your shell theme.
Thank you. Oh my ZSH is my jam. Right, so let's go back over to Thonny. And now can I zoom into Thonny, increase font size? It's supposed to be increasing the font size. So inside Thonny, I hope.
Yeah, it should. Oh, you got the beach ball going. Oh, no.
Yeah, I have. So I don't know what's going on. It's probably because I just connected from my other session.
Oh, okay.
I did quit the device.
Yeah, I dropped a link to MP Remote in the chat for folks VS Code fans.
Yeah, you can also use PyCharm. So there's PyCharm IDE. There's a free version of that, and there's a plugin for that will do the trick.
Okay.
So Thonny is going to list me out all the boards that are connected, and then it's going to ask what version of MicroPython I want. So I mentioned before I've got the Pico Enviro running, so that's this one here.
Okay.
Hopefully that's okay for folks to see. I'm apologizing that it's so small, but that didn't like to connect at all, did it? Let's try that again.
What does it say?
Oh, I know why. It's because it's currently running its code.
Oh, okay.
So because when I started it, I plugged it in earlier, and it just started running it's like trying to interrupt the JavaScript event loop. It's basically like either fully interrupted, and you can do what you want, or non-interruptible, right? So
okay, gotcha.
So this is the Enviro with all of its stuff. It's got some libraries in here installed. It's got the actual Enviro stuff from Pimoroni. So this is an RP2040, and again it says Raspberry Pi Pico W with RP2040 in the console here.
Okay.
I'm just showing you that because it's here, not because we started talking about it earlier. The one we actually want to look at is ESP32. When you first install MicroPython, Nick, you will see, and you look at the file system, either using MP Remote, which has an ls command, or in Thonny or in any code editor that supports this, you will only see the boot.py file. And the boot.py file is fully commented out by default. Now on on my other device, the bootpop.py file starts running everything. It connects to Wi-Fi, connects to MQTT, connects to all the sensors and starts doing stuff, because it's not expecting to live on a computer, connected to a computer. It's expected to sit in the corner of the dining room and monitor the air quality, right?
Okay, yeah.
This one, by default, has some stuff that would be running. You can actually have a web REPL, so this would let you connect to Wi-Fi, and then you can connect to the REPL over a web browser if you wanted. I've left that commented out. This board is doing nothing by default. When I plug it into power, it just sits there and waits for commands.
Okay.
Because I don't want to show you all my Wi-Fi password, I have a file called secrets.
Okay.
That would have, or does have on the board, my SSID and password, my Mastodon token, and Mastodon URL.
Yeah.
What I wanted to show you today, I was hoping we could go through this together, but we'll get to do that another time. Is let's. So there's some code here, which is going to import the network, which is the network stack. It's going to grab my secrets. So then at which point my secrets are just in a group variable here. So I can connect to my Wi-Fi. It waits until it's connected, and then it prints out the network config. So if I now import net here, it's going to go ahead and just connect to the Wi-Fi. I just put this on the device earlier for the purposes of doing things more quickly, but we could have gone through this manually. So this device, my board is, all it's done is connect to the network. It's done nothing else. It's not it's not sending anything anywhere. I've got some other stuff here, and this is one I thought might appeal to you because I think it's kind of cool. But I'm going to show you how this. I'm going to show you how this works before I. So let me delete.
Can you try? I don't know if you can zoom now or not. Try bumping it maybe once.
Yeah. Now,
if not, if you get the beach ball, don't worry about it.
I'm not loving the fact that it won't. I think it will only let me increase the editor size rather than the sidebar, which is.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. The sidebar is okay. That's okay. Cool. Okay, yeah.
So let me. So because my device is now connected to the network, I can now install modules from the internet. So one that's pretty cool is from Pimoroni as well. And it's called View. So if I just pop over to a browser window on a different desktop, like for example, this one. View. So because Pimoroni, they're a vendor here in the UK that sell a bunch of stuff that works with Raspberry Pi in particular, which is how they got their name, but they support a bunch of different devices. They have some really cool stuff you can get from them. I'm not being sponsored by them, but one of the things that they do, and when you first get these Pico boards, is they're designed to run out of the box. So I've written code for this one, but you can plug one of these things in. It will advertise itself as a Wi-Fi hotspot, very similar to a lot of smart home devices these days. You know, you first bring it into the home, it says, yeah, it's going to advertise a hotspot, connect your phone, then connect it to your Wi-Fi, you know, all that sort of stuff. So they've got this library called View that lets them do that. So it's they call it the Pico HTTP Endpoint Wrangler. So it's literally a small web server that lets you do some of those things like configuring the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And so I thought would be fun if we were able to do it today would be to run a web server on our new ESP32.
Yeah, right? No, so that'd be super fun.
Have that connected, hanging off your Wi-Fi, and just serving you some content. So in order to do that, MicroPython comes with the request library, so it can make calls to HTTP endpoints, but it can't serve web content by default. So let's import MIP, which is the MicroPython package manager.
Okay.
And then let's just do help MIP just to get in the habit of asking. So MicroPython libraries generally tend to try to be, I am done the wrong thing. I'm not supposed to put that in quotation marks. I can now start to find what functions it supports. So it's got a mip install. Okay. So mip.install. Now, MicroPython has its own package repository at MicroPython lib. So things like on the left-hand side, you'll see there's one called SSD 1306. That's the screen driver for the screen that's attached to mine, and I installed that using MIP earlier. But this time we want to install something that's not in the MicroPython package library. It belongs to Pimoroni. And if we go back over to my Pimoroni help, it tells you, I'm sure it tells you.
The name's cracking me up. My Pimoroni. It's making me think of my Sharona for some reason.
I am not finding the command. I know what the command is because I wrote it down earlier. You do GitHub :
okay.
And that goes off because it knows that GitHub means github.com, because it knows that Pimoroni./view means Pimoroni organization view package. And now I will probably need to refresh that view.
Yes. Okay, so you got a new folder now.
View again in there. Now, something I discovered today is that there's an error here. So I have a piece of code on here called Webby, which wants to connect to connects to the Wi-Fi. You just give it the SSID and password, and then it starts a server with one single root. Again, this is pretty familiar sort of syntax for someone like yourself who does web development or builds backends as well. So we're setting up a root on random that supports the get method and returns a random number.
Okay.
And if it doesn't exist, we return a 404. And then we do a server run. Now, I know that for a fact that this is going to break because the Vue library has a couple of problems with the latest version of MicroPython. So if I say import Webby now, in fact, let's not import Webby. Let's just hit the run button up here, which runs the script that's currently focused in the editor. It's going to give me an error. I'm expecting it to give me an error because there's been a change of the API in MicroPython. So I need to go in and edit this init file.
Okay.
And I need to do two things. One of them is that on line 41, that is interesting because it's obviously picked up. I'm just going to restart Thonny because it's obviously picked up the change I made earlier, or the fact that I've only just reconnected, I reinstalled it.
Okay.
Init, line 41. Stack connect fail doesn't exist in MicroPython 2.1.2.
Okay.
There is one other thing that will happen in a minute, and it is, I'm going to have to deal with it when I come to it because I can't remember what it is. Oh, I know what it is.
You're familiar with it, though.
I know what it is. It is that relative imports don't work. So it will give me an error in a minute. If I try to run the code, the Webby code, it's going to say at that line here, it's going to say this relative import from dot, because it's living inside the Vue folder, that won't work.
Okay. And the relative imports don't work just because it's a device?
No. I'll tell you why it was. I was completely wrong. I was an idiot. It's because I was trying to run, and I've done this twice today, was trying to run the init from the module and not run the actual code. The actual code is this code.
Oh, okay.
It works fine. So we've started. So we've got a web server running now on port 80.
Okay.
And I know from earlier experience that the IP address of my board
while you're loading that up, I think.
Yeah, I think this is.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so we're now serving our random number from our board, but we could easily be serving the temperature or something that the board knew about.
Okay, so it's running now. Yeah, and I think this is what's neat about it is there's many, like, we're not running some like really big server. This is something that's still super handy though, even though again, getting back to the
Mhm.
cost and like just
Yeah,
the, simplicity of being able to do this. Cause like I haven't done this, but like this is what people, I know a few friends that will put up like between their router and the internet, their ISP, just to block certain
yeah.
things. And
Yeah.
so,
So somebody, I've just unshared, which is why it says loading.
okay.
Sorry, I should have given
Oh,
you
no,
that
no
heads
worries.
up because I think I'm probably done with. There's so much we could go through and talk about. So one of the things, as I mentioned earlier with this board, is I've been having it. So this is a prototype. I've been using this for prototyping because I've got this elephant here. Now, wouldn't it be cool if
Okay.
this elephant had a screen on the side? This is just a piece of foam board which is currently holding a load of pens. But
Okay.
elephant, mastodon, elephant mascot for Mastodon. The idea is to have a screen on here which has a Pico behind it that's going to show
Okay.
my most recent tweets.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Breaking things over there, so just ignore
Uh,
that.
I was gonna say Tamaz in
So
the chat from Dev2, one of the moderators. He says hello.
I really appreciate it. It's really kind of you folks for coming along. So just to cater to your taste a little more as well, because I know that you're not so much of a Python person.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things from a JavaScript perspective. There's something called Espruino,
Okay.
which you can run on some boards, which is a JavaScript implementation. So for small devices, and then there's more recently Microsoft have got something called Device Script. So if
Okay.
you look in VS Code for the Device Script plugin,
Hmm.
that's using TypeScript, which is very familiar.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's nice and it's nice and well looked after. It's early days for that, but it seems really interesting. They've got a nice simulator that runs inside VS Code for that as well, and it starts to go down the road of Walkwe, where you can start to sort of add virtual
Okay.
components if you don't have a board handy. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think really that was we had a rocky start with our AV today, but I wanted to sort of give you some sense of what's possible. And the Melbourne Meetup Group is speaking at PyCon AU next month
Okay.
about who says I think the title is "Who Says MicroPython Can't Do That." Really cool stuff that people
Oh
are
yeah.
starting to
No.
use it for.
Yeah.
And I when I went to Dublin for EuroPython last year, the Pico W had only just come out with the Wi-Fi on it, and I used it to serve a web page to everybody in the audience on stage, which
Okay.
was kind of fun as well. Just with some basic links to my social profiles and things. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
that gets back to what I was saying before. It's like there's definitely practical uses, like you used it at some of your employers at some point, but it's also
Mhm.
I I really enjoy that you can have there's a fun aspect to this as well, like learning, it doesn't, I definitely love tinkering and programming, so like, but it doesn't always have to be serious, like I've got to do this so I can learn it for work, build something silly, just try and push the limits of
Totally.
whatever.
Nice fancy cases.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
one of the
yeah, no,
things
that's
that
a
I've got over here, because my printer is one of the fancy bamboo printers, and their logo is this.
oh,
So
okay,
these are the parts of a case for that little tiny purple board I showed you earlier. That's going to fit into this slot here. Somebody else has designed this because I'm useless at
okay,
this 3D design. And then that's going to have an indicator light showing the state of my 3D printer.
okay,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
it's just super fun.
yeah. I haven't gone down the road of 3D printer yet because I don't think I'd, I just haven't had time to, and I know it's a bit of an investment too, and
You've got family, and this thing I got one. I borrowed one from a friend when my life changed last year, and then I've subsequently now owned three of my own, and I'm still learning to model. So it's definitely, and as you can tell, I'm a hoarder. So yeah, it's fun, and there's loads to learn. I
yeah,
just need to get back
there's
to writing about it.
yeah. The funny thing is, I used to work at Autodesk, which for folks in the chat might not be aware,
Yeah.
it's like a big engineering firm. I didn't, I worked on a project called Shotgun, which was project management for like film and games and so on. But like there was all kinds of departments there, and engineering was there as well, because they have other stuff like AutoCAD and Studio Max, and they had tons of 3D printers in the office, and people would like 3D print stuff in the office. So like there was like all these Star Wars things, like the big AT-AT.
Yeah, yeah.
It's some I don't know if it's somebody at work who did it or not, but I'm pretty sure that got 3D printed somehow, which God knows how long that took. But it's just, it seems like something super fun, and I don't know. I think something about 3D printing still kind of mesmerizes. I kind of understand how it works, but I'm still kind of like just like because like like is it mainly plastic things? Like can it build like I don't know, like is it going to get to a point where it's like I need a new car tire, and I just go 3D print it,
I
or
I went to a 3D printing show a couple of weeks ago in Birmingham, and it was very much actually it wasn't a hobbyist thing at all. And I kind of knew it wasn't
okay.
going to be, but yeah, they had car parts being printed on the show floor. It was pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, they had 3D printers the size of this room, just
Okay.
doing stuff, and I was like,
Okay.
wow. Since I'm here as well, and those of you that know me from dev as well will remember I did a blog post a couple of months ago about this thing called the brachiograph. Oops, dropping my drawing. So someone else invented this, the brachiograph. It's Raspberry Pi Zero
Okay.
with Python, and again down to the hardware, talking to these servos over here, and it can
Oh, okay.
take
Okay. Cool. Cool.
stuff and draw it out, and that's led me down another rabbit hole of wanting to try all the different plotters and devices now. So
That's cool.
uh,
That's cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, there's two things, and then we can definitely wrap it up. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of your time, but Alex in the chat was wondering, is processing still around? They
Yeah.
say that was one of the Java-based ones used for Arduino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
processing definitely still around, and I've been looking at that from the plotters as well,
Okay.
because yeah, I weirdly, because I used to be a Java person 10 years ago, and well, and
Okay.
I still know Java, but I'm not up to date with all the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was I never really got into it, but yeah, it's definitely still around.
Okay.
It's not the world I'm living in right now.
Yeah, and the other thing was I did a C++ in university, and then after the first year they switched to Java. Um, but then I didn't do Java professionally, but I
Mm.
did do .NET, so like C Sharp and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So similar,
Yeah.
but not completely the same.
The C sharp type syntax. There's a company called Meadow that make boards that run C sharp. I'm looking around, but I think my kit is in a box up the top somewhere on one of the shelves.
Okay.
But yeah, like I say, I collect all the things to try.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, that's super cool,
so
and I love that you tinker with all these things. Like I get yourself. I think one thing that would be super cool. Obviously, unfortunately, I didn't have a correct cable today, but I'll speak to you after the stream, and I'll
yeah,
get
yeah,
set up with a proper one. And if you're up for it, maybe the summer's getting kind of busy, but maybe in the fall we could kind of plan out.
yeah,
Let's build out something with the device,
yeah,
and
yeah. We might get you a couple
that'd
of
be super fun.
sensors to plug onto the pins there as well, so that you'd have some
Yeah,
inputs.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah,
yeah.
it was one of those things where not hardware's not something that you do a ton of, so yeah, it was less easy to demo things. But yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
excited that you've got the feel for it, the
yeah,
taste for it. So I'm excited to
yeah.
help you out some more.
Yeah, I already have an idea, because like for folks who don't know, like if you see the Twitch stream, I have me and Andy are cameras here, but those are just web views on my screen, and then like when I have stuff that pops up, like I can hide my alpaca and stuff. That's all just using front end technology, so just JavaScript, and I use this package called Comfy.js, which allows you to interact with the chat. So it could be kind of fun. I'm just kind of spitballing, and we can definitely talk about it more another day. But somebody would do a command in the chat, and then maybe we could have the Arduino do something, which could be kind of neat. Or not the
Yeah,
Arduino,
I
the ESP.
mean, build your own stream deck here, right? So again,
Ah, okay, yeah.
this is another P. Moroni one, but this was back before they've done ones which are like proper keyboards as well, and
Okay.
program your own keypads. These things can be USB. If you're using CircuitPython, not currently using MicroPython, but it's coming, they can be human input devices on USB as well, so you can do all kinds of fun
Okay.
stuff. So
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so
Okay.
much, Nick, for having me. And for those that you don't know, I agreed to be on a few months ago and then got sick at the last minute. So apologies that we had to reschedule. But I'm really
Yeah.
excited and happy to have done this today. It's really fun.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. So it was great to get an overview of everything and to see some hardware in action. So, and again, thanks for taking the time. I know it's a little later in the UK, but yeah, we'll
And watching us today, I'm really grateful.
cool. All right, well, that's it for today. Thanks again, Andy. Next week, I'll drop the schedule because my brain is. I have no idea who's on next week. I'm gonna be off in 2 weeks because I'm going to a conference in Toronto, and it'll be a little less frequent in the summer because I'm on some vacation. But yeah, appreciate everybody, and I'll see you all next week. And Andy, if you just don't mind staying on for just 1 second,
Yeah.
and later, everybody.